Mhm. Okay. All right. So, welcome, Chaitanya Charitamrita class, Adi Lila chapter 7. We're going to start with text number 27, but before I do that, I'm going to answer the question that Shalini Mataji has asked. And the question she has asked is, another is a request to explain the Panch Tattvas in terms of who they are, what Tattva or the truth they actually represent. So, first of all, the five personality. Panch means five. Truth means Tattva means truth or essence. And so there's a verse in the first chapter of Adi Lila, text number 14. It's also repeated in this chapter, which is Panch Tattva Tukam Krishna, Bhakta Roop Swarupakam, Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyam, Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. So that's the verse that we should all memorize actually. You don't remember? Again, Adi Lila 1.14. So I'm requesting everyone to memorize because this is one of the most important verses in this whole book. It's telling us who are you worshipping. I mean, we go worship, and what mantra do we chant before we start chanting Hare Krishna mantra? Right? What mantra do we chant? Anybody?
Jai Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vashadi Gaura Bhakta.
Right, exactly. Thank you, Prabhu Gopal Prabhu. So those are the five tattvas. So let's start with the first one, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya is Krishna himself. And what tattva is Krishna?
Ishwar Prabhu, Ishwar.
Ishwar tattva, Vishnu tattva, Ishwar tattva, Krishna tattva, all the same thing. But here in this context, we're calling him Ishwar tattva or Ish tattva. Okay, so we're clear on that one, right? Then the next is Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu. What's the next one?
Nityananda.
Yes, Nityananda. So there's a second personality or second tattva. Now, who is Nityananda in Krishna Lila?
Balram.
Balram.
Now, Balram is the first expansion of Lord Krishna. Therefore, Lord Nityananda is the first expansion of Krishna or Lord Chaitanya. Right? And the word used for him is Swarupaka. He is same, not different. So you have Rup and you have Swarup. Swa means your own. Right? Swarup means Swa means your Rup means form. So if we say first one is Rup, Bhakta Rup. There is a Bhakta Swarupakam, means same form, but same means it's a reflection or expansion. So Nityananda is the expansion, but Swarup means same. No difference. So therefore, he's also Ishwar, like Balram is Ishwar. So he's also Ish Tattva. Right? Then who's the next one? Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita. Shri Advaita. She's Advaita Acharya. Who's Advaita Acharya?
He's the Guru. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's.
No, he's not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Guru.
No?
No.
Bhagat Gadadhar Pandit.
In terms of Tattva.
Sadashiv.
I'm sorry?
Mahavishnu and Sadashiv.
Right.
Yeah.
So Mahavishnu is basically Vishnu, which is Vishnu Tattva. So an incarnation or expansion of Vishnu Tattva is still Vishnu Tattva. Everybody agree?
Yes, Prabhu.
Especially Shalini Mataji, are you with me?
Prabhuji, please, could you repeat this?
Yeah, exactly. So Advaita Acharya is an expansion of Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu, Vishnu, right? Expansion of Lord Balaram, Lord Narayan, Lord Krishna. So what tattva is he?
Ishwar Tattva.
Avtara.
No, but what tattva? I'm not asking that.
Ishwar Tattva, Prabhuji.
Ishwar tattva, right? Everybody agree? So then that means Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and Lord Advaitacharya. They're all Ishwar Tattva or Ish Tattva. By the way, Ishwar is basically Ish plus Var. Var means best. So Ishwar means best of the controllers. Ish means controller. Ishwar means best of the controllers. So we use the word Ishwar for Supreme Personalities of Godhead. And then we use another word for Krishna, it's called Parameshwar, Parameshwar. Ishwara Parameshwar, Ishwara Paramah Krishna, Ishwara Parama means Parameshwar. Right? That's Krishna, that's Lord Chaitanya. That's why we call him Mahaprabhu. Nityan is called Prabhu. We talked about that some time ago. So these three are Ish Tattva. Is there any confusion about that?
No confusion.
No, Prabhuji.
No, Prabhu.
Clear, Prabhu.
Okay, all right. Then Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita. What's the next word?
Gadadhar.
Gadadhar Srivastava.
Who's Gadadhar?
Radharani.
Radharani.
Radharani. Who's Radharani?
Energy of Krishna.
I'm sorry?
Energy of Krishna.
Energy of Radha.
Energy of Krishna, potency of Krishna, right?
Yeah.
The Sanskrit word for that is
Shakti Tattva.
Shakti Tattva. So Radharani is Shakti Tattva. Any confusion about that one?
No
So
confusion.
expansion of Radharani is also Shakti Tattva.
Yeah.
So with three Ish Tattvas,
And
now the fourth one is Shakti Tattva.
Yeah, Gadadhar.
Okay? So Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar. What's the next one?
Vasadi Corbett.
Shrivas. Who's Shrivas?
Narada Muni.
Narad
Narad
Muni.
Muni. Who's Narad Muni? What tattva is that?
He's a son of Brahma.
Okay, but what tattva is that?
Devotee,
Devotee.
What tattva is that?
Guru Tattva. Prabhu? No?
No.
Bhakta,
Bhakta.
No.
Jeev Tattva.
Jeev
Jeev.
tattva. What tattva are we? All of
Jeev
us?
Tattva.
Jeev
Jeev
Tattva.
Tattva.
So Narad Muni, same tattva as us.
Hmm.
Right? And most of the time, what tattva is Brahma?
Jeev Tattva.
Jeev tattva.
Yeah.
So we all Jeev tattvas, right?
Hmm.
So therefore, Shivas Pandit or Shivas Acharya is Jeev tattva.
Jeev Tattva.
So now you got Shakti tattva, three Ish tattva, one Shakti
Shakti Tattva.
tattva,
Shakti
and
Tattva.
one Jeev tattva. But what
Yeah.
Shakti does Jeev tattva represent?
Shakti.
Radharani Shakti Tattva.
No. What tattva does Jeev represent?
Tatastha Shakti,
Tatastha Shakti, which is Shakti?
Tatastha,
Yes, correct. Tatastha Shakti, Shakti. Is everybody with me?
Apra Shakti.
Tatastha Shakti is name of the Shakti.
Apra.
Nil,
No, hold on. Don't make it complicated. It's simple. Simple. Tatastha Shakti means is Shakti. Tatastha is one word. Second word is Shakti. Right? So we are marginal potency of Krishna. Everybody knows that. Or no?
Yes, Prabhu.
Are we marginal potency of Krishna or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Does that mean we are potency of Krishna?
Yes.
We
Does
are.
that mean we are Shakti of Krishna?
Yes.
So we
Yes.
are also Shakti Tattva. But different kind of Shakti. What are the three potencies of Krishna?
Internal portion.
external
Yes.
and marginal.
External
Right.
margin.
Marginal.
So internal potency Radharani. That's
No.
Shakti Tattva. We are marginal potency, we are Shakti Tattva.
Hmm.
Different kind of Shakti, but it's Shakti Tattva. Is everybody with me?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Shalini Mataji, please tell me.
Prabhuji, what is the last one you said? Internal, marginal? And
And external.
External, internal, and marginal. Three.
So internal is Yog Maya. External is Mahamaya or Maya.
Yes.
And then Tatastha or marginal is us.
Jeev.
Okay. So therefore, Radharani, represented by Gadadhar Pandit, is Shakti Tattva. That's internal Shakti. Shivas represented by us is Jeev Tattva, which is also Shakti. They got two Shakti, three each in Panch Tattva.
Thank you, Prabhu. Got it.
You're welcome. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else who has any questions on this? Because it's the most important point. So if you have to ask it third time, ask. Because
So,
it's
Prabhuji,
very... Yes,
what
Palini
are,
Mataji, go ahead.
what are we then? Jiva Tattva,
Yeah,
right?
Jeev Tattva, but we're Shakti.
So are we in Tattva wise? What are we, like Jiva Tattva or Shakti Tattva?
Shakti Tattva, Jeev Tattva, both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. There are three types of Shakti.
Hmm.
Antaranga or internal, Bahiranga
Bahiranga.
or external, Tatastha or marginal. There are
Okay.
three Shakti or three potencies of Krishna.
So we are both Shakti as well as Jiva Tattvas.
The same thing. Jeev Tattva is Shakti Tattva.
Oh, okay.
It's a different name.
So even here in Gadadhar is Shakti Tattva and Shivas is Jiva Tattva. So they are the same too?
No, they're both Shakti Tattva. One is internal potency, another one is marginal potency. But they're still potencies. The nature of the potency is different,
Okay.
but they're still potencies. That's what I'm saying. The three potencies. So they're all potencies, but different type of potency. For example, you might have two cars, a Lexus and a Mercedes, but they're both cars.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yes, yes, yeah.
So same way, we're both Shakti. One is internal, one is marginal.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Sure. Anybody else?
Sorry, Prabhu, one question.
Go ahead,
So,
Prabhu.
so these five personalities are representing these five Shaktis you are talking about, right? Representatives.
Five tattvas, yes. Not
Five
Shakti.
tattvas. Okay. So is it like they are the most supreme among them, or how do we understand that?
What do you mean by that?
For example, like Srivas Thakur should be considered as like the most highest order of representative of all the bhaktas, or
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's an associate of Lord Chaitanya. Of course, he has to be. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes.
So among all the bhaktas, he's like the best, or
But Prabhu, so we don't want to use words like that because that means somebody's inferior. We don't have to use that. Because does that mean that, for example, Rai Ramananda Roy, is he any less bhakta? Is Swarup Damodar any less bhakta? Is Radha Goswami any less bhakta? We don't know that. We don't compare that way.
okay.
Right? What we're saying is that's who he is representing. Okay? This is the material way of thinking, who's better, who's best. We don't bring dualities like that.
We cannot classify.
It's like, say, who's better, Lord Ram or Lord Nrsimhadev? We don't do that. Right?
No.
Thank you, bro.
Okay, no problem. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Prabhu. Prabhu, thank you for simplifying it further. It actually make more sense. But last time जब आप पढ़ा रहे थे, and as per my notes, we have just named the other two with different names. Like you have said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityanand Prabhu, or Advaita Acharya, they're all Ishwar Tattva. Last time we named them Avatar Tattva and the Prakash Tattva. So we're
Yeah,
just
that's a
naming them
different
different,
discussion. Yes,
but
there's different context, but that's also correct.
okay.
Okay.
Makes sense. It's just
So-
calling the same thing with different names.
Well, remember, when I started even today, I said, who's Advaita Acharya? He's an avatar, incarnation. Right? So that's avatar. But we said, Ish Tattva. Similarly, we said Balaram is expansion. And so that is expansion, but we said Ish Tattva. So context is different, but yeah, absolutely. Same thing.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Anybody else?
Prabhuji Ruchira here. I've heard, isn't it Brahmaji, isn't it Buddhi Tattva, because he's created all the Vedas and all, no?
Mother, I'm having difficulty hearing you. You're not very clear.
Isn't it Brahmaji Buddhi Tattva ke bane, isn't it that?
Is it Buddhi Tattva?
Yeah, I mean
What
he
Tattva is
has,
that? I never heard Buddhi Tattva.
I've heard in one of the lectures
Okay, Mataji, then I'm sorry, I don't know. I only know Shiv Tattva, Jeev Tattva, Vishnu Tattva, Shakti Tattva. I never heard Buddhi Tattva. I don't know what that means.
Okay. And Jeev Tattva, again, it just raises a question in my mind. Isn't it creating all the jivas? Like he's a creator, and himself, we are calling him also Jeev Tattva.
Again, but I'm having difficulty understanding everybody you're saying. Who are you asking about?
Brahma.
Brahma. So what's your question on Brahma?
So since he's the creator, but he's also a Jeev Tattva at the same time.
That's not my fault, Mataji. I'm joking. So let's see, how is Brahma appointed? Any person, any jiva, who for 100 human births does not perform any single sinful activity becomes eligible to make the short list of potential candidates to become Brahma. And when this person like that available, Krishna appoints one of them as Brahma. So it's Jeev Tattva for sure. Now, that is such a hard criteria. Every once in a while, I'm talking about trillions of years, every once in a while, there's nobody on a short list. Then Krishna himself becomes Brahma, and that is called Ishwar Tattva Brahma, or Ishwar Koti. So we are normally, Brahma is Jeev Koti Brahma. Every once in a while, very rare, he becomes Ishwar Koti because there's nobody available. So Krishna himself takes the post. But those are the only possibilities.
So in our Brahma, the Chaitanya Brahma, is he Jeev Koti one or the Ishwar?
Today's Brahma is Jeev Koti.
Jeev Koti, okay. Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the text. So once again, we're doing Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 7, Lord Chaitanya in 5 features, and we're doing text 27. Okay.
27.
Everybody else, please keep yourself on mute. Jagat dubile jivere haile bij nash, taha dekhi 5 janer param ulas. Translation. When the 5 members of the Panchatattva saw the entire world drowned in love of Godhead and the seed of material enjoyment in the living entities completely destroyed, they all became exceedingly happy. So, how did the entire world become drowned in the love of Godhead? What happened? What happened that the entire world was drowned in love of Godhead?
Is it the Sankirtan movement, Prabhu? They went out singing.
Specifically, what did we discuss last week? What did we discuss last week? What did Lord Chaitanya do that Krishna did not do?
Freely distribute Krishna's.
Absolutely.
In the
But
form of
before he did that, he did something else. Like as per the chapter we read.
He opened the doors, you said?
Yes, exactly. So there was a store of love of God that was sealed, locked, left by Krishna. He unsealed it, unlocked it, opened it, and freely distributed the love of God from that storehouse. Okay, so I'm going to make one very strong request to all of you. To please, the way to understand the scriptures, study the scriptures, is that we do what's called manan. Does anybody know what manan means? What does manan
Contemplate.
Contemplate, meditate, think about this, try to analyze all those kinds of manan. And I need you to do that after every class. We'll do the same evening or another time, but before the next class, I need you to do that. Because otherwise, this is such a complex and complicated topic that you will not retain anything. And you spend all this time, and at the end of it, nothing. So an extra maybe 15, 20 minutes will be so fruitful to all of you. And the second thing is, if you can, please make some notes. I know some of you are doing that. Please make some notes, and then you can just revise or review those notes. If you cannot do any of that, then I send out the recording, Take 15 minutes and skim through it. Well, otherwise, very difficult to retain. It's very difficult to retain. So I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying that if you really want to multiply the benefit you are getting from these classes, is if you do that 15, 20 minutes more. Is that asking too much?
No,
No,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji,
No,
no.
Prabhu.
We'll do that, Prabhu.
If you can please.
After class, homework is required, Prabhu.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So somebody wants to read the purport?
I can read, Prabhu.
Go ahead.
In this connection, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anubhasya that since the living entities all belong to the marginal potency of the Lord, each and every living entity has a natural tendency to become Krishna conscious. Although at the same time the seed of material enjoyment is undoubtedly within him, the seed of material enjoyment, watered by the course of material nature, fructifies to become a tree of material entanglement that endows the living entity with all kinds of material enjoyment. To enjoy such material facilities, it is to be afflicted with the three material miseries. However, when by nature's law there is a flood, the seeds within the earth become inactive. Similarly, as the inundation of love of Godhead spreads all over the world, the seeds of material enjoyment become impotent. Thus, the more the Krishna consciousness movement spreads, the more the desire for material enjoyment decreases. The seed of material enjoyment automatically becomes impotent with the increase of the Krishna consciousness movement.
Yeah. You know,
It's so beautiful.
Yes, I did purpose like that, and I said, Jai Srila Prabhupada. He's the only one who could present such complicated topics in such simple language. It really just penetrates the heart. So let's talk about it, because this is one of the, I keep saying, everything's so important. And really, it really is. So I keep saying one of the most important, because they really are so important. And if you can understand these very fundamental things, our understanding will be so much better, and then that'll improve our service as well. So let's talk about this. Now he's talking about Jeev Tattva here in this paragraph. So what's the word we use? What kind of potency is Jeev Tattva? What did we say?
Marginal.
Marginal. What does the word marginal mean?
Just on the, it can go to the upper, it can go to the lower.
Right, exactly. So think of us standing on a fence. Don't try it, just saying it. Think yourself of standing on the fence. You have choice. You can jump on my side of the fence or my neighbor's side of the fence.
Yeah.
That's your choice. Now imagine the neighbor side is Golok Vrindavan. My side is Maya, which kind of makes sense. So you have the choice. You're standing on that fence. You can jump on the side of Maya, or you can jump on the side of Krishna. And what kind of will do we have?
Marginal.
Free will.
Free will.
Free will.
Free will means I am free to decide. So I can decide, literally decide. That's one thing we have complete control over. I can decide if I want to serve Krishna, jump on the neighbor's side, or I can decide to serve Maya and jump on my side. And that's why we're known as marginal potency. Now, whichever side we decide to jump, now imagine, because we're so tiny that we are like a seed. Now, if you plant a seed, what do you need to do for it to grow into a plant?
Water.
Water it, right? Now, if you jump on Krishna's side, what is the water?
Mantra.
Sorry?
These are chanting mantras.
Okay, chanting, yeah. Chanting Hare Krishna mantra, reading the books, deity worship, right?
Yeah.
The nine processes of devotional service. All those are the watering process. And then Bhakti Lata Creeper will grow if you do that. If you jump on the side of Maya, my side, what's the watering process?
Material
Sense enjoyment.
enjoyment, that's it.
That's great.
So, yeah, exactly. So material desires, satisfaction of the material desires, right? that will grow. The plant will grow on that side. When the plant gets stronger, that means you're getting more and more entangled in Maya. So the more material activities you do, the more material desires you try to satisfy, the more entangled you become in Maya. On the other side, the more you chant, the more you associate with devotees, the more you perform deity worship and other forms of devotional service, you become more entangled with Krishna. Right? So that's the choice. So what did we choose to do? You all jumped on my side. So now we are all in Maya. Sorry about that. But choice was made by you, not mine. Right? And I jumped with you. I jumped with you. So Prabhupada is saying that when we have the material enjoyment as the water, we become more entangled in material things. That means Maya. Right? Excuse me. But there's something very interesting that happens when you jump on Maya. Maya comes with miseries. What are the three main types of miseries?
Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik, Adi Yagni.
Please explain. What do they define them?
Adi Bhautik is because of the body or mind.
Right.
And Adi Devik is because of the demigods.
Okay.
And Adi Yagni is like the COVID we had, or whatever for the done by Vishnu, you can say.
Right.
I don't
Okay.
know.
So the point is we have no control over them.
Yeah.
Like, can you predict an earthquake? Can you forecast earthquake?
What's that?
No.
Predict an earthquake.
Earthquake.
Yeah.
Earthquake is Adi Yagna, I think.
No. Question. Here's the question, please. Can you predict that tomorrow there's going to be earthquake?
Oh, no one can.
No.
Okay.
No one can predict.
Can you stop an earthquake when it starts?
Oh, no.
Okay, so you have no control over it.
No.
Right? Now, similarly, if this flood, can you stop the flood?
No.
No, you can't, right?
Yeah.
But this here, they're saying there's one good quality of flood. One good quality of flood in the purport. That is, if you have seeds in your lawn, suddenly there's a flood, that your lawn is completely filled with water, 3 feet of water. Will the seed survive?
No.
No. Die. And that's the point being made here. So read this. However, when by nature's law there's flood, can you see everybody?
Yes, Prabhu.
However, when by nature's law there's flood, the seeds within the earth become inactive. Similarly, as the inundation of love of God has spread all over the world, the seeds of material enjoyment become impotent. That is what Lord Chaitanya is doing. Everybody with me? Because again, another very important point.
It's very important.
That's that lot of love for Lord Krishna is going to completely destroy the seed of material enjoyment. Right? That is why we say that when we become attached to Krishna, our material attachment is reduced. And how that happens, I'm going to share a particular verse with you because I want to make sure that everybody reads it, sees it, and maybe you can attempt to remember it. So let's see. Okay, sorry, I have to share it first. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Sorry, just give me a second. Okay. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, chapter 2, text 42. It is Bhakti Pareshani Bhavo Viraktir Anyatra Chastrika Eka Kala Prapadyamanasya Sthashnatasya Tushti Pushti Chudupayo Anubhasam. Let's read the translation. Devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things, they are simultaneously for one who's taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This pleasure, nourishment, and relief from hunger comes simultaneously and increasingly with the person engaged in eating. So, what is it saying? As we eat, our pleasure increases, our nourishment increases, and the relief from hunger happens automatically. Right? So, similarly, when we perform devotional service increases, the direct experience of the God increases, and detachment from material things increases. So it's an automatic process. And that's what's being said here. Automatically we become detached from material things. Automatically we become more attached to Krishna. Automatically our bhakti increases as we perform devotional service. Okay? So any questions on that? Okay, let's read the next paragraph then. Who wants to read that?
Ready, Prabhu?
Sure.
Instead of being envious that Krishna consciousness is spreading all over the world, by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, those who are jealous should be happy, as indicated here by the words Param Ulasa. But because they are Kanishta Adhikaris, are Prakarta Bhaktas, materialistic devotees, who are not advanced in spiritual knowledge, they are envious instead of happy. And they try to find faults in Krishna consciousness movement. Yet, Srimad Prabodhananda Saraswati writes in his Chaitanya Charitamrita that when influenced by Lord Chaitanya's Krishna consciousness movement, materialists become averse to talking about their wives and children. Supposedly, learned scholars give up their tedious studies of Vedic literature. Yogis give up their impractical practices of mystic yoga. Ascetics give up their austere activities of penance and austerity, and sannyasis give up their study of Sankhya philosophy. Thus, they are all attracted by Bhakti Yoga practices of Lord Chaitanya and cannot relish a mellow superior to that of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. So now Prabhupada's talking about different varieties of seeds for different non-devotees. Okay, you understand? So we talked about the seeds of karmis, of those who are in fruitive activities, what happens. Now he's talking about other people. But he starts very interestingly about people who are envious of Krishna consciousness movement. So I'm sure you all know this history of ISKCON, how Srila Prabhupada was opposed by his own godbrothers, by Brahmanas in India, and so many other people in India who were not supporting him at all when he needed support. And in America, there were people accusing him of brainwashing their children, and all sorts of other accusations were coming, including somebody suing ISKCON. And you all know that history. So I just want to mention that one of the reasons that people in very high positions in America were against ISKCON is that they were so afraid that if they are industrialists, their products will stop selling. I'll explain that in a second. They were afraid if they were in politics that the nature of politics will change. They were afraid if they were into, I don't know how many of you know, Deep State, which is basically an organization whose job is to create instability in the world. People like that were afraid that people will change their consciousness and they'll go from ignorance to goodness. And my God, what will happen to the world? So just think about this. We worry about what will happen to the world because of people in mode of ignorance. But people in mode of ignorance are worried that if people in mode of goodness will take over, what will happen to their roti kapda makan, their living? So again, to elaborate further, if everybody becomes seriously Krishna conscious, they will not buy meat. So there goes the meat industry. They will not be so much into wearing fancy clothes. There goes the clothing industry. They're not into makeup and all that. There goes the makeup industry. They're really worried what will happen to our economy. Politicians are worried that everybody becomes Krishna conscious. Who will listen to them? Right? How will they get vote? Because they have serious concern. Serious concern. So some even try to infiltrate within ISKCON organization to change the mood. But it's Krishna's mercy and Srila Prabhupada's absolute faith in his Guru and Krishna and his own potency as a devotee that kept all these people at bay. Right? So now, so these were all jealous people, but now Prabhupada's talking about other people. This is very interesting. So it says here, materialists, can you see that? Materialists become averse to talking about their wives and children. Does everybody see that? Yeah. So what's the seed for the materialist? All the material things, all the material relationships, right? So they stop talking about them because their seed is gone. Now they're interested in talking about Krishna, not about their wives and children and their friends and all those kind of things. And I'm sure most of you have probably gone through the same thing already. The transformation happened. You used to talk about other people, other events. Now that's minimal, right? What's the next group of people and their seed? Supposedly learned scholars. So learned scholars, what's their seed? They're into studying the Vedas or other scriptures, right? What does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 45? Triguna Vishya Veda, Nistriguna Bhavarjuna. 245, right? Krishna is saying, don't get swayed by the flowery language of Vedas. You know, perform devotional service. So their seed goes away. They say, yeah, who wants to read the Vedas? Read Srimad Bhagavatam. Perform deity worship. Chant holy name. Right? Prabhupada Saraswati, Prakashana Saraswati. Everybody knows that name? Everyone knows that name, Prakashana Saraswati?
Yeah.
Heard
Yes.
of it, Prabhu.
Okay, so Lord Chaitanya converted him completely. He asked Lord Chaitanya, why don't you read Vedanta? What's wrong with you, man? And what did Lord Chaitanya say? My guru said, I'm a fool. I will not understand Vedanta. So I just chant. And changed him completely. 10,000 disciples of Krishna Saraswati start chanting. So their seed went away. Okay, next one. Yogis give up their impractical practices of mystic yoga. What's the seed for yogis? Meditation, like a Paramatma or something that doesn't exist or void or whatever, right? Their seed goes away. They say, no, now I want to chant. Now, there was a very famous impersonalist yogi, I forget the name now. But anyway, so he was always talking about, Krishna has no form, this and that. And then he happened to go to Vrindavan for some reason. When he came back, he could talk about anything but Krishna has the form, Krishna has this quality and that quality. The seed gone. Okay? Ascetics give up their austere activities. So all these ascetics were performing all sorts of austerities, putting fire all around them in the summertime and staying within the fire, going in the freezing water in the cold, in the wintertime, standing there neck deep. All sorts of austerities, silly austerities that have no meaning. They give up all that because they got inundated with the love of Godhead. The flood comes, the seed dies. There's a very wonderful verse in one of the Upanishads. Antar bahir yadi hari kim tapa. Antar bahir yadi na hari kim tapa. Basically saying, if Krishna is in your heart, why do you need any austerities? And if Krishna is not in your heart, what's the use of your austerities? It's so beautiful. So that's the point being made here. That all these people, when they become inundated with love of Godhead, they give up whatever they were doing. They simply raise their hands and chant what?
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's what happens. When Lord Chaitanya opens the storehouse, inundates the world with the love of Godhead, everybody loses their seats except the devotees. Any questions?
प्रभु जी एक मैं बताऊं, प्रकाशानंद स्वामी श्री कन्या महाप्रभु जी ने श्री प्रकाशानंद सरस्वती को उत्तर दिया, मानवर कृपया करके इसका कारण सुनिए। मेरे गुरुदेव ने मुझे एक मूर्ख समझकर मेरी मत्सरना किया।
Right, exactly. That my guru thought I was considered me a fool. She told me stop Vedanta, just chant.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Okay, text 28. जत जत प्रेम वृष्टि करे पच जने तत तत बढ़े जल व्यापे त्रिभुवने. The more the 5 members of the Panch Tattva cause the rains of love of Godhead to fall, the more the inundation increases and spreads all over the world. So if you think of the rain, the more it rains, the more the flood happens. Right? Same thing is happening there. So let somebody read the purport, please.
I can read. Prabhu.
Please go ahead, Mataji.
The Krishna consciousness movement is not stereotyped or stagnant. It will spread all over the world in spite of all objections by fools and rascals that European and American mlechas cannot be accepted as brahmanas or sannyasis. Here it is indicated that this process will spread and inundate the entire world with Krishna consciousness.
Right. So that was the other criticism Srila Prabhupada was facing from his God brothers and Brahmanas in India, that how could he take a mlecha and make them a Brahmin? So if you recall, I'll ask you to go back to text 23 of the same chapter. We did that last week. Text 23. Are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji.
It says, Patra apatra vichar nahi stan stan, se jaha paye taha kare prem dan. Translation. In distributing love of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates did not consider who was a fit candidate, who was not, nor where such distribution should or should not take place. So Prabhupada is saying, Lord Chaitanya did that, so why are you telling me that I cannot do that? I'm only following the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. I'm doing what Lord Chaitanya did. And that's the point being made here all over again. There's so much opposition. But Prabhupada said, no, this is what the Shastras say. That's what the Lord did when he was here. I'm just following the footsteps. Okay. Text 29 and 30. मायावादी कर्मनिष्ठ कुतार्किक गण निंदक पाखंडी जत पडुया अधम सही सब महादक्ष धाइया पलायल सही वन्या तासवारे दुईते शून्यते नारिल. The impersonalists, votive workers, false logicians, blasphemers, non-devotees, and lowest among the students' community are very expert in avoiding the Krishna consciousness movement. And therefore, the inundation of Krishna consciousness cannot touch them. So now, Prabhupada is talking about those who simply will not take it, no matter what. So let's read the purport. First paragraph, please.
I can go.
Please go ahead, Mataji.
Like Mayavadi philosophers in the past, such as Prakashananda Saraswati of Banaras, modern impersonalists are not interested in Lord Chaitanya's Krishna consciousness movement. They do not know the value of this material world. They consider it false and cannot understand how the Krishna consciousness movement can utilize it. They are so absorbed in the impersonal thought that they take it for granted that all spiritual variety is material. Because they do not know anything beyond this misconception of the Brahma Jyoti, they cannot understand that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is spiritual and therefore beyond the conception of material illusion. Whenever Krishna incarnates personally or as a devotee, these Mayavadi philosophers accept him as an ordinary human being. This is condemned in the Bhagavad Gita 9.11. Avajanati mamoda manusim tanam ashritam param bhavam ajanato mama bhuta maheshwaram. Should I continue, bro?
Finish the translation, please.
Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature as the Supreme Lord of all that be.
Yeah, thank you. So, Krishna is saying that the fools don't know that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, if you go back to 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, text number 6, it says, Ajo apisan avyay atma bhutanam ishwaropisam prakritim swam adhishthaya sambhavami atma maya. It's saying, I'm unborn and I'm the Lord of all the living entities. And I'm inexhaustible, which means there's no death or diminution for me. But what happens? Prakritim swam adhishthaya. Staying in my own nature, which is spiritual. Sambhavami atma. My own will, I appear. So, even though I'm unborn, so I'm never born, but I appear. But when I appear, I don't change my nature. I stay in my nature, which is spiritual. Okay? And then 9:11, you say what Mataji just read, that fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They don't understand that even in my human form, I maintain my transcendental nature. And I remain the Supreme Personality of Godhead no matter what. So when Krishna becomes a chariot driver of Arjuna, and Arjuna instructs him to go this way or that way by kicking him in the shoulder, Krishna still remains God. When Krishna becomes the messenger for Yudhishthira Maharaj, he still remains God. When Krishna agrees to greet all the guests in the Rajsuya Yajna of Yudhishthira Maharaj and takes the duty of washing their lotus feet, every guest, no matter who it was, Krishna was washing their feet. But even then, Krishna remains God. Krishna can be 6 days old or 60 years old in the material world. He remains God. His nature of being God, being spiritual, does not change, whether fools know it or not. Okay? So the point being made is that these impersonalists don't know about the 3 features of absolute truth. What are the 3 features of absolute truth?
Sachidananda Vigraha Prabhu.
Paramatma.
Okay.
Paramatma
The 3
Bhagavan.
features of absolute truth. Mata, you're talking about the qualities, Sachidananda's qualities.
Paramatma, Bhagwan,
And
Super Soul. Super Soul.
Paramatma, Super Soul, same thing.
Brahman.
Brahm Jyoti.
Brahman, Paramatma.
Yes.
Ishwar.
Brahman,
Jyoti,
Paramatma,
Paramatma,
Bhagavan.
and Super
Brahm Jyoti, Paramatma और ईश्वर.
Okay. Yeah, you're all right.
Bhagwan.
So those 3 features. Impersonalists cannot see beyond Brahman effulgence.
Yes.
So they don't recognize Super Soul or Paramatma or Bhagwan feature of the absolute truth. They think Brahman effulgence is the absolute truth. So therefore, when Bhagwan appears, it must be human being. It must be Jeev Tattva. They have no understanding of Bhagwan Tattva. And therefore, they say, oh, it's just another human being with a little more power. His total personality, a little more power. He's a yogi, therefore he can do all this. But they don't understand the real tattva of Krishna.
Prabhuji, there is a common thing between the materialists and the Vraj Bhumi, the people there in the Vraj. They both don't believe that Krishna is God.
Yes. Pure devotees and non-devotees.
Non-devotees. They
Totally
both don't
different
believe.
reasons. Correct.
This is the uniformity.
Very true. Very true. Okay. All right. So let's read the next paragraph then. Any volunteers for the next paragraph?
I can read, Prabhu.
Go ahead, Prabhu. Oh, look at Prabhu. Haribol.
Haribol, Prabhu.
Go
There
ahead.
are also other unscrupulous persons who exploit the Lord's appearance by posing as incarnations to cheat the innocent public. An incarnation of God should pass the test of the statements of the Shastras and also perform uncommon activities. One should not accept a rascal as an incarnation of God, but should test his ability to act as a supreme personality of Godhead. For example, Krishna taught Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna also accepted him as the supreme personality of Godhead. But for our understanding, Arjuna requested the Lord to manifest his universal form, thus testing whether he was actually the Supreme Lord. Similarly, one must test a so-called incarnation of Godhead according to the standard criteria. To avoid being misled by an exhibition of mystic powers, it is best to examine a so-called incarnation of God in the light of the statements of the Shastras. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is described in the Shastra as an incarnation of Krishna. Therefore, if one wants to imitate Lord Chaitanya and claim to be an incarnation, he must show evidence from the Shastras about his appearance to substantiate his claim.
Right. Fantastic point. Now, like Prabhupada saying, stop wasting your time with these kind of people. If they come to you claiming to be God, you say, okay, fine. Show me a reference in Shastra. Where does it say that you will appear? For all the genuine incarnations, there's some reference. Where's for you? If they can show them, then it's okay, fine. Show me universal form. Can do that? Okay. Why don't you lift a building? Forget the mountain. Lift a building. Show something extraordinary. Not this jugglery that, oh, here in my hand, there's a watch here. Oh, here, look, there's some gold here. Not that jugglery. That's the Hath ki safai, as they say. You know? So show something. Otherwise, just don't waste time. Don't argue. Like, I did tell the story about the donkey who thought the grass was blue. Okay,
Yes,
so let me tell
you've
you.
mentioned.
I did. Okay, so you're going to hear it one more time. So one time, a donkey and a tiger got in an argument. The donkey was claiming the grass is blue. And the tiger was laughing, saying, after you're a donkey, you don't know anything. But then I thought, the grass is green. Big argument. Finally, like after hours of argument, they said, okay, we're going to the king of the forest and ask him to make the decision. So they both went to the lion, the king of the forest. They both put their point. And donkey said, see this guy, tiger, he's been wasting my time for so long, claiming the grass to be green. And the lion said to the donkey, you are absolutely right. The grass is blue. And tiger, you're such a fool. I exile you from this forest for 3 months. The donkey was so happy. He was dancing with joy. He left dancing. Yes, the grass is blue. After he left, the tiger said to the lion, sir, I don't understand. You know it and I know it. The grass is green. So why did you tell the donkey it's blue? And the lion said, that donkey is a donkey. He will never understand. So why do you want to waste your time arguing with? Let him think it's blue. What harm does it do to you? Why did you waste your time? So tiger said, okay, I understand. Why did you exile me for 3 months? And the lion said, for wasting my time, bring this silly argument to me. And so I always remember that. You know, bro, it's so much better just to give and say, you win, I lose, I will save my time. If you run into somebody so stupid, so silly, that's not worth arguing, just say, you win. And walk away. Save your time. Okay? So same thing. If somebody actually insists, okay, then fine, you are, and walk away. You want to continue to think you are incarnation of God, then be so weird. Not for me, but you can do whatever you want, right? Okay. 31, 32.
I have a question here.
Gayatri, go ahead.
Okay, so there are Shastras tell us about the incarnations
say
of the
that.
Lord. Shastra tell us about the incarnation of the
Yes.
Lord.
Yes.
What about when you're generally seeking out devotee association, and you don't know, but how do you know if there's somebody who might be like a bad influence, because we're not like I'm talking for myself, I can't tell. But you might seek attention, or not attention, might seek advice, but you don't know if this person is giving you the right advice because you think they're great devotees, but is there a way to even when we're in this class, we're like, oh, we heard, like Mataji earlier was talking about Buddhi Tattva, she heard somewhere in the lecture. How do you know what you're hearing, all these things, what your source of information is? You're just trying to seek out, especially with social media nowadays. There's so many people out there that are, preaching, and, they might be part of, the movement as well. But how do you know if the information is coming to you is authentic?
Yeah, that's a very good question. But you're reminding me of what my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, said one day. He said when he met Prabhupada the first time, he had a very negative impression. And the reason for that was Prabhupada kept saying, this Acharya said this, that Acharya said this Acharya said that. And he said, does this person not have any opinion of his own? Why is he always quoting somebody else? And so it took him a while to understand, no, that is the right approach. We quote our acharyas. We go by what our acharyas have said. So when I listen to classes, I just look for who's been quoted here. Is it Puran? Is it a Upanishad? Is it a Veda? Or is some of the other authorized books, like Charitamrita, etc., or the acharyas like Vishnu Chakravarti, Rupa Goswami, Sarada Swami. If that's not been quoted, then I take it with a grain of salt, especially if something I have not heard or read before. And then I would confirm with somebody else. So I personally, I don't take everything I hear as the truth. Now, there's certain speakers I do trust. I'm talking about ISKCON. So this ISKCON speaker, I do trust. If they say something I may not verify, I'll just say, I learned something new today. So yes, there are some what I call trustworthy speakers. Yes. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying others are untrustworthy. I'm just saying I'm a skeptic. If I hear something new from somebody I don't know well, I'll double check.
Because a lot of people are very charismatic, and
but you're not going for charismatic people, you're going for
no, you're not.
Trust.
Yes, you're right. Exactly.
Right? And people you trust are those who are continuously quoting Srila Prabhupada, Vishnu Chakravarti, Rupa Goswami, etc., etc. Are trusted acharyas.
Okay, thank you.
But excellent question, because that's a serious issue for all of us.
I think we could listen to only few seniors from ISKCON, like Gauranga Mahaprabhu or Gauranga Prabhuji, Prabhudas, or could be Amrendra Prabhudas, like a few of them, not everybody.
Yeah, there are quite a few, actually, to be honest with you. It's not that, but still there's limited number, right? And you trust them because they keep quoting from the Shastras. Like the two names you gave, they're always quoting from the Shastras or the Acharyas, right? Then you build that trust. But there are some other people also, but not everybody. They may be good, they may be genuine, but I don't know them. So if they say something I have never heard before and kind of rings a bell, raises an alarm in my head, then I will double check. It may still prove to be them to be right. I'm not saying they're wrong. But see, with me, if I heard something, I'll probably repeat to somebody else. But I don't want to repeat to somebody else unless I know for sure it's true. So I take an additional responsibility on my head. Okay? So if I tell you something, I know I've confirmed it. Okay? All right. So text 31, 32. ताहा देखी महाप्रभु करेन चिंतन जगत डुबाइते आमे करेलु जतन केहु केहु एड़ाइल प्रतिज्ञा होइल भंग ता सभा डुबाइते पति भी कुछ रंग. Well, let's see what he did. He says, this is Lord Chaitanya talking. Seeing that the Mayavadis and others were fleeing, Lord Chaitanya thought, I wanted everyone to be immersed in this inundation of love of Godhead. But some of them have escaped. Therefore, I shall devise a trick, drown them also. This is getting interesting. Chaitanya is going to get tricky. Okay, let's read the purport. Who wants to read it?
I can read, Prabhu.
Please go ahead, Gopal. Go ahead.
Here is an important point. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to invent a way to capture the Mayavadis and others who did not who did not take interest in the Krishna consciousness movement. This is the symptom of an acharya. The acharya who comes for the service of the Lord cannot be expected to conform to a stereotype, for he must find the ways and means by which Krishna consciousness may be spread. Sometimes jealous persons criticize the Krishna consciousness movement because it engages equally both boys and girls in distributing love of Godhead. Not knowing that boys and girls in countries like Europe and America mix very freely, these fools and rascals criticize the boys and girls in Krishna consciousness for intermingling. But these rascals should consider that one cannot suddenly change a community's social customs. However, since both the boys and the girls are being trained to become preachers, those girls are not ordinary girls, but are good as their brothers who are preaching Krishna consciousness. Therefore, to engage both boys and girls in fully transcendental activities is a policy intended to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. These jealous fools who criticize the intermingling of boys and girls will simply have to be satisfied with their own foolishness because they cannot think of how to spread Krishna consciousness by adopting ways and means that are favorable for this purpose. Their stereotype methods will never help spread Krishna consciousness. Therefore, what we are doing is perfect by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for it is he who proposed to invent a way to capture those who stayed from Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, thank you. You can almost see the anger that Srila Prabhupada was feeling in his heart from all these people making these comments, negative comments. And he really suffered a lot from these people. Anyway, so one of the issues was that, you're letting the ladies, Matajis, go to the altar and become pujaris. In India, that's not done. So why are you doing that? In India, as you know, the men and women are kept separate, different aisles. But here, it's not so strict. And Prabhupada was saying, people in India don't know that in Europe and America, there's free mingling of boys and girls anyway. So if you try to do something, keep them separate, they'll be unnatural for them. So because they don't understand, and in India it's natural to be separate, when they see them intermingling, they say, no, that's not natural. But it's not natural to you. It's natural to Americans and Europeans. And I cannot change their culture. I cannot change the thought process suddenly. Yeah, as they understand the philosophy, it will happen automatically. And then it's gone, at least until pre-COVID, there was fair amount of segregation. Matajis on one side, Prabhujis on the other side. Now even that is gone. But at that time, it was there, at least to some degree. So again, times have changed. And if you start focusing on, no, you cannot intermingle, no, you cannot stand on the same side, then you'll be wasting all your time there. When will you preach? So Prabhupada is saying the higher principle is to preach. So give them the higher consciousness. Preach to them about Krishna consciousness and focus on what's beneficial to them in the sense of making them better devotees and having higher level of consciousness, meaning Krishna consciousness. So let's focus on that rather than waste your time on things that are trivial, less important. Why bother? So that's basically what he's saying. Now, before we go to the next text, can anybody guess what trick did Lord Chaitanya use to get everybody on board. What was the trick he used?
Prabhuji, I read the.
Oh, you read it. Okay,
I
then
did
you
read
read it.
it.
Then don't say it.
Okay.
Somebody did not
But I
read.
had a question too after this.
Later, yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to guess what trick did Lord Chaitanya use? You all know the answer by the way. What trick Lord Chaitanya used to get everybody on board?
Prashadam.
No.
Kirtan, everybody loved dance and singing.
Sankirtan.
No. Okay. Let's tell you what. Let's read text 33. The answer is there. Et boli mane kichu karila vichar, sannyas ashram prabhu kaila angikar. Thus the Lord accepted the sannyas order of life after full consideration. So he became sannyasi. At what age?
24.
24, exactly. Now in the purport we'll see further explanation of the thought process. So let's read the purport. First paragraph.
I can read, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, please.
There was no need for Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to accept sannyas, for he is God himself and therefore has nothing to do with the material bodily concept of life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not identify himself with any of the 8 varnas and ashramas, namely Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. He identified himself as the Supreme Spirit. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or for that matter, any pure devotee, never identifies with these social and spiritual divisions of life. For a devotee is always transcendental to these different gradations of society. Nevertheless, Lord Chaitanya decided to accept sannyas on the grounds that when he became a sannyasi, everyone would show him respect and in that way be favored. Although there was actually no need for him to accept sannyas, he did so for the benefit of those who might think him an ordinary human being. The main purpose of his accepting sannyas was to deliver the Mayavadi sannyasis. This will be evident later in this chapter.
Thank you. So there's a very famous verse from Rupa Goswami's Padyavali, where Lord Chaitanya is saying, I'm not a Brahman, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya. Does anybody know that verse?
I think we've discussed this.
Hmm?
I think you have mentioned this verse in the previous classes.
Probably.
Yes.
So Naham Vipro.
Go ahead, Swarupa, go ahead.
I don't know the full problem. Naham Vipro na Shudra na Charpati.
Okay, yeah. So Naham Vipro na cha Narpati napi Vaishyo na Shudro. Naham Varni na cha Grihapati no Vanastho Yatirva. The first 2 lines basically mean I'm not a Brahmin, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm not a Shudra. I'm also not a Brahmachari, I'm not a Grihastha, I'm not Vanprasth, I'm not Sannyas. So then who are you? So he says, Kintu Prodyan Nikhil Paramanand Purnam Tabdher Gopi Bhartur Padakamalyor Das Dasanvas. He says, I'm the servant of the servant of the servant of the husband of the gopis, who is Krishna. That Krishna, who is full of an ocean of nectar, who is constantly in bliss and putting the whole world in bliss, and is always effulgent in personality. So bottom line is, I'm not any of those 8 Varna ashram. I am servant of the servant of the servant of Lord Krishna. That is our identity. So actually, we should all be reading this verse when we do Achman. Okay? Om Keshwaya Namah, Om Narayana Namah, Om Madhavaya Namah, that Achman. After that, we should all be doing, it's called Bhut Shuddhi Mantra. Bhut means your elements. Purify them. So before we start puja, deity worship, we should read that. So find out this verse, please memorize it, and every day make it a practice. After your Achman, you read this verse. It's called Bhut Shuddhi. Verifying your elements. So anyway, the point is, Lord Chaitanya is saying, I'm not any of those. So therefore, you need to do that. Become sannyasi. but he did it for those people who would otherwise not accept Krishna consciousness.
Is it 3 point? Prabhu, what verse is it? Sorry. I'm driving, sorry.
It's from Padyavali, and it starts with Naham Vipro.
Prabhuji, this is also in Madhya Lila.
Yes, you're right.
Madhya Lila 1380.
Okay, so there you go. Madhya Lila, Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 1388, you said?
80.
13.80. Okay, so Madhya Lila 13.80. So please write it down, put it on the wall or whatever. Read this every day after you Achman. Okay. So he accepted the sannyas order to attract all those people, and we'll talk about the details about that later, to become attracted to Krishna consciousness. Now, what form of Lord Chaitanya do we worship? What form of Lord Chaitanya do we have in our temple?
His form before sannyas.
Before sannyas. And what's the reason?
For his hair, Prabhu?
Sorry?
For his hair?
No, what's the reason for worshipping the pre-sannyas form, not the sannyas form where there's no hair?
Because he had lovely hairs, right? That is what.
Okay, so is that your full answer?
And then he gave up.
Okay.
It's hard to see the Lord in that form.
It's very painful. It's very painful.
And then everybody adorns the deity in their altar, so they put on jewelry and all. Like
no, but the point is, we don't want to see the sannyas form of the Lord. It's pre-form. So it was very painful to see that form with no hair. Okay. All right. Next paragraph. Anybody wants to read the next paragraph?
I can read, Prabhu.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has explained the term Mayavadi as follows. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is transcendental to the to the material conception of life. A Mayavadi is one who considers the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna to be made of Maya, and who also considers the abode of the Lord and the process of approaching him. Devotional service to be Maya. The Mayavadi considers all the paraphernalia of devotional service to be Maya. Maya refers to material existence, which is characterized by the reaction of fruitive activities. Mayavadis consider devotional service to be among such fruitive activities. According to them, when Bhagavatas devotees are purified by philosophical speculation, they will come to the real point of liberation. Those who speculate in this way regarding devotional service are called Putrakikas, false logicians. And those who consider devotional service to be fruitive activity are called Karmanishthas. Those who criticize devotional service are called Nindakas, blasphemers. Similarly, non-devotees who consider devotional activities to be material are called Pasandis, and scholars with a similar viewpoint are called Adhamma Paduyas.
Okay, thank you. So, first of all, I don't know if everybody was familiar with the definition of Mayavadis, but here it is. Mayavadis consider the Lord Krishna, his abode, and devotional service to him as all Maya. And it's defined as, Maya is defined as something that is like karma. You do something, you get the result. So it's like karma kanda activity. And those of you who recite the 10 offenses against the holy name every day, you probably remember the 8th offense is to consider the chanting of the name of the Lord to be one of the ritualistic fruitive activities, karma kanda. Right? So they are basically committing the offense against the holy name, and therefore they never get pure Vishnu service. So Lord Chaitanya is saying, I got to give them. So okay, I'll take sannyas, at least that way I can help them. And the prime example of that is Prakashananda Saraswati that we talked about. Okay? And then he goes on the same thing. All these people will not take it, but because everybody in India respects sannyasis, they let this listen to him, not run away. Okay, let's do the last paragraph, then we stop after that.
I can read it, Prabhu.
Please go ahead.
The kickers, nindikas, pasandis, and Adam Paduyas all avoided the benefit of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's moment of developing love of Godhead. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt compassion for them, and it is for this reason that he decided to accept the sannyas order. For by seeing him as a sannyasi, they would offer him respect. The sannyas order is still respected in India. Indeed, the very dress of a sannyasi still commands respect from the Indian public. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas to facilitate preaching his devotional cult, although otherwise he had no need to accept the fourth order of the spiritual life.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, the acceptance of sannyas order by Lord Chaitanya was an act of compassion for all these people that we have named. And so he gave up his home, his young wife, his old mother, and all the prestige he had as a teacher. To become sannyasis, he could deliver all these people who otherwise had no hope. So we'll stop here. Any questions or comments?
Vijay, I had a question. The part where we were discussing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, takes sannyas to kind of trick these Mayavadis, because he felt so much compassion for them. And then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is giving, using that as an example of, I'm preaching in the US and I'm preaching in Europe, and the women and the men are all intermingling anyways. So, we have to go by time, place, and circumstances, and how we can incorporate bhakti into this, and how we can get these people to still perform bhakti. But I'm just thinking sometimes this can be used by people to, for like some own kind of self-motivation kind of thing, right? And it's not really for that true purpose. Yes? Hello?
Not sure I understood what you're saying.
And I'm just trying to think of an example where, you can say time, place, and circumstances and alter the rules and, based on whatever is happening.
Yeah.
But it's not to elevate people to Krishna consciousness or in Krishna consciousness.
No, that's not true. That's what Prabhupada did.
I know Prabhupada did that. I'm saying in the present day, because sometimes people break rules, I can't think of an example right now, but it's maybe I'll think of an example and we'll talk.
Okay,
afterwards.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
No worries. Anybody else? Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Vancha kalpitarubhyascha kripasindhubhya evacha. So please consider my request of meditating,
revising,
contemplating on what we discussed today.
Revising what you said.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
You have something to say?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you,
Quite
Prabhuji. Hare
interesting.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Balramji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.